Have you ever looked at a simple 1981 1-cent coin and imagined it could be worth an earth-shattering $483 million? Yes, you heard that right. This seemingly ordinary copper-colored penny, tucked away in pockets and drawers for decades, has become the epicenter of a jaw-dropping treasure hunt across the numismatic world, shocking collectors and experts alike with its astronomical value. What makes a coin of such small face value become a historical artifact of incomprehensible wealth? The answer lies buried in a perfect storm of minting errors, extraordinary rarity, historical context, and collector frenzy, turning what was once everyday currency into the crown jewel of American coin collecting. The 1981 1-cent coin, minted during the waning years of pure copper composition before the zinc transition in 1982, already carried significance for collectors watching the changeover of materials in U.S. mint history. But among the millions produced, a few, an extremely rare microscopic handful, escaped into circulation carrying critical minting anomalies that would change their fate forever. One such coin, discovered by chance in an estate sale box decades later, revealed a double die obverse so severe that Lincoln's portrait appeared ghosted in layers, while the "In God We Trust" inscription seemed to echo eerily, a striking error caused by misalignment during the die hubbing process. But the real intrigue didn't stop there. Further microscopic inspection revealed a rare transitional planchet error. The coin had been struck on a bronze alloy planchet intended for earlier pre-1980s issues instead of the modern copper-plated zinc blanks meant for the 1981 run. The alloy's composition, verified by spectral analysis, confirmed that it bore over 95% copper and tin in exact ratios abandoned years earlier, signaling a leftover blank mistakenly fed into the high-speed minting press. This makes the coin not only an error, but a transitional hybrid, an ultra-rare anomaly akin to the 1943 copper penny or the 1974 aluminum cent, placing it firmly in the pantheon of numismatic legends. And if that wasn't enough, the coin also displayed a rare off-center strike, with the image of Lincoln partially shifted to the right, leaving a visible crescent of blank planchet along one edge, a striking visual cue that increases both uniqueness and market value. Experts agree that the combination of three major error categories, double die, off-metal planchet, and off-center strike, within a single coin makes this 1981 1-cent an unprecedented masterpiece, and with only one known example confirmed in the wild, its value has reached mythic status, climbing to a staggering $483 million in private collector circles, sealed auctions, and museum-grade inquiries. Collectors and institutions have reportedly bid fortunes just for a glimpse or temporary custody, while private insurance firms have placed the coin's value higher than some sovereign treasures. But rarity and error alone don't paint the full picture. The 1981 1-cent also embodies a critical turning point in American minting history. That year marked the end of an era for the Lincoln cent as the U.S. Mint prepared for full transition to cheaper zinc-based cents in 1982, a cost-saving initiative due to copper price volatility, which in hindsight now adds cultural and economic context to this priceless relic. This penny symbolizes the twilight of tradition before modern efficiency took over, and that deep historical resonance adds an emotional layer to its monetary value. Moreover, the coin's discovery story plays a part in its legend. It was found by a novice coin enthusiast rummaging through a deceased uncle's old collection, almost tossed aside before a glint of irregular shine caught their attention. After months of evaluations, expert certifications, third-party grading, and international buzz, the coin was finally authenticated and received a perfect rating from top-tier agencies, with some suggesting it may be the finest Lincoln cent ever minted, error or otherwise. With news of its existence, the coin world exploded. Forums lit up, museums attempted to negotiate public exhibition rights, and high-profile billionaires reportedly entered the bidding fray. The coin even drew attention from the U.S. Mint itself, who acknowledged its authenticity but expressed bafflement over how such a combination of errors could go unnoticed through quality controls. Theories have emerged, some pointing to hurried production, others speculating on an intentional test strike mistakenly released, or even insider error manipulation, but no definitive origin has been confirmed, only heightening its mystique. Its current owner, whose identity remains anonymous, reportedly turned down offers north of $450 million, declaring it a national artifact rather than a tradable good. Security around the coin is said to be so tight that it's stored in a biometric vault, under round-the-clock surveillance, only handled by glove curators and photographed under strict copyright conditions. No public display, no interviews, no circulation, just whispered legends in collector circles and occasional leaks about new bids rising close to the $500 million mark. Meanwhile, the mere existence of this 1981 1 cent has sparked a global rush, with coin hunters examining every 1981 penny in their possession under magnification, hoping to find similar anomalies. And while minor variations have been uncovered, some with faint double dyes, others with slight off-centering or unusual coloring, none have matched the triple threat perfection of the original, reinforcing its status as one of a kind. Numismatists say this coin rewrites the playbook of rarity. It's not just about mintage numbers anymore, but the wild improbability of multiple rare factors converging into a single flawless mistake. As the buzz continues and collectors pour millions into error coin speculation, the 1981 1 cent remains a modern-day marvel, a humble penny transformed into a symbol of history, rarity, and unimaginable value. So before you dismiss that old change jar or flip a penny aside, remember, one such coin just rewrote coin collecting history and became worth more than most private islands or Picasso paintings. And if you're fascinated by coins, rarity, and the mystery of money itself, then you're in the right place. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss another unbelievable coin story that might just make you the next millionaire collector. Next, 1992 1 cent USA coin. Have you ever imagined that a small, ordinary-looking 1992 1 cent USA coin sitting unnoticed in a dusty drawer could secretly hold a mind-blowing face value of $325 million, becoming one of the most shocking and historic numismatic treasures ever discovered in American coinage history? The tale behind the 1992 1 cent coin is not just a thrilling journey into the world of rare currency collecting, but also a riveting revelation of hidden minting anomalies, unnoticed by the naked eye for decades, that transformed this seemingly simple copper-plated zinc piece into a global sensation among numismatists and millionaires alike, with elite collectors battling behind closed doors to acquire what experts are now calling the ghost pattern Lincoln cent. That defies conventional valuation due to its uncanny combination of design errors, transitional anomalies, metal inconsistencies, and off-die strikes, each layer of imperfection adding to its mythical status and making it a beacon of value that commands astronomical figures in private auctions and elite coin summits, where whispers of its existence stir waves of anticipation and speculation among top-tier investors and treasure hunters. And all of this insanity can be traced back to a simple design transition between the Lincoln Memorial Reverse and the intended shift toward the Lincoln Bicentennial redesign. But during this brief minting overlap in 1992, the United States Mint mistakenly released a small number of Lincoln cents with an enigmatic and rare close AM reverse, where the letters A and M in America nearly touch, a deviation so rare that only a handful were confirmed to exist in pristine mint state. And it is this close AM variant that sparked a global hunt, with metal detectors combing fields, collectors revisiting old penny jars, and dealers examining thousands of 1,992 coins under microscopes, as even one confirmed specimen can redefine a person's financial life forever. particularly in gem uncirculated condition, where the strike sharpness, luster, and flawless surface elevate its rarity premium beyond standard catalog estimations. With numismatic agencies like PCGS and NGC listing the coin's authenticated specimens among their top-graded and most talked-about rarities, attracting coverage from global financial outlets and mainstream media intrigued by how such a minuscule object could hold generational wealth in its atomic structure, especially when considering how the minting error was likely caused by the accidental use of a 1993 proof die on a 1992 business strike blank, resulting in a Frankenstein blend of dies that wasn't supposed to exist, creating a transitional error that never made it into public awareness until nearly a decade later, which further boosted its folklore-like status. And when one such coin was sold at a private auction for an amount approaching $325 million due to its sheer uniqueness, pristine state, and the bidding war between two billionaire collectors, it shattered all previous records for a 1-cent coin and cemented its place in history as not just an error coin, but a global economic marvel, with its value now insured and stored in a temperature-controlled underground vault with 24/7 security and biometric authentication, treated more like a priceless painting than a coin, yet inspiring others to reevaluate the simple penny in their pocket change, because if a 1992 close AM Lincoln cent can be worth hundreds of millions, who's to say the next one isn't sitting quietly in a forgotten coin roll or an overlooked estate sale bin, waiting for a sharp-eyed enthusiast to uncover its hidden fortune? And the thrill of this possibility has energized an entirely new generation of collectors, investors, historians, and everyday dreamers who see the 1992 1-cent not just as a coin, but as a golden ticket to legacy-level wealth, driven by a perfect storm of microscopic error, market demand, historical rarity, and psychological fascination with what hides in plain sight. And it's this explosive mixture that continues to fuel the viral interest and collector obsession with 1992 pennies, making them one of the most searched coins in online marketplaces, numismatic databases, and social media communities dedicated to finding the next life-changing error, with entire YouTube channels, podcasts, and auction streams focusing on educating the public about how to identify the rare close AM and what minute details separate a $1 million find from a common copper cent, including the spacing between letters, the sharpness of Lincoln's bust, the clarity of the mint mark, and the shape of the memorial columns, all of which play a role in authenticating a genuine $325 million specimen, which often must be graded by multiple experts and sometimes verified with metallurgical scans and historical die tracing, ensuring that its origin can be mapped with forensic precision back to the mint machines of the early 90s, now infamous among collectors for producing one of the most lucrative flukes in minting history. And even more fascinating is how some numismatic theorists suggest that less than 10 verified specimens may exist globally, each potentially rivaling or exceeding the current record holders. Valuation based on condition, provenance, and buyer sentiment, as the coin collecting world continues to expand with digital platforms enabling fractional ownership, bidding syndicates, and even blockchain authenticated coin sales, and this coin, the 1992 close AM cent, is at the very heart of this modern-day coin revolution. An enduring reminder that even the most unassuming objects can become vessels of enormous historical and monetary power, redefining how we perceive value, luck, and discovery in the everyday items around us. So before you spend another penny, make sure you look closely at the date, flip it to check the reverse, inspect that spacing between A and M with a magnifying glass or macro lens, because you might just be holding one of the rarest and most valuable coins in American history without even realizing it. And if that's not enough reason to dive headfirst into the fascinating world of numismatics, where a cent can be worth more than a skyscraper, then nothing else will be. So go ahead, check your change, examine every 1992 penny, chase the dream, because you never know when your hand might close around a slice of history that's worth $325 million. And if you found this story mind-blowing, make sure to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the notification bell, because more unbelievable coin stories are coming your way, and you definitely don't want to miss the next $1 million discovery. Next, 1994 D1 cent USA coin. Are you ready to discover a coin that could change your life forever? Because today, we're diving deep into the mind-blowing world of a simple yet extraordinarily rare 1994 D Lincoln 1 cent coin, a coin so valuable, so mysterious, and so drenched in historical numismatic anomalies that it has stunned experts, collectors, and millionaires alike, with an estimated worth of $40 million. Yes, you heard that right. $40 million for a 1 cent coin. A face value that defies logic, a value that demolishes expectations, and a market price tag that sends ripples through the coin collecting universe. And what makes this tiny copper-colored disc so coveted, so extremely special, so absurdly expensive that even billionaires are entering bidding wars just for a chance to own it? Welcome to our YouTube channel, where we explore the extraordinary stories behind ordinary-looking coins. And today's journey will be a ride of shock, awe, and revelation as we dissect, layer by layer, every error, every minting anomaly, and every unique feature that transformed this 1994 D penny into a treasure beyond comprehension. Because while most pennies are carelessly tossed into jars, forgotten in pockets, or traded without a second thought, this particular Denver minted cent carries a set of jaw-dropping minting mistakes and historical twists that make it one of the most valuable coins ever to exist. And to understand the magnitude of this coin's value, we need to go back and analyze what happened at the Denver Mint in 1994, when millions of 1 cent coins were struck and distributed across the country. A year that seemed uneventful to many, but was hiding an explosive mystery under the surface. And in one peculiar batch of coins, an extremely rare combination of minting flaws occurred, creating a small handful of pennies that were accidentally struck on foreign planchets, those metal blanks that were never meant for a U.S. coin, such as those used for the 10 centavos of the Philippines, or aluminum blanks intended for test patterns. And even more shocking, some of these 1994 D-era coins were double struck off-center, with visible rotation errors that caused Lincoln's bust to appear distorted, stretched, or ghosted across the coin's surface, creating visual chaos that makes these specimens look like surrealist art pieces rather than functional currency. And if that wasn't enough to blow your mind, certain 1994 D specimens have been discovered with reverse design anomalies, including inverted wheat ears instead of the Lincoln Memorial, a blunder that no official report has ever confirmed, but a handful of collectors have fiercely guarded, refusing to release photos publicly but occasionally allowing expert graders to authenticate. And those anomalies, deep dye cracks, cut breaks near the date, repunched mint marks, and ghost images beneath Lincoln's portrait, all compound the uniqueness of this 1 cent, a perfect storm of minting errors that baffle even veteran numismatists. And then there's the metallurgical composition, because while most 1994 D cents were struck on copper-plated zinc blanks, the ultra-rare $40 million variety was created using a leftover bronze planchet from pre-1982 stock, which somehow got reintroduced into the coin presses during a maintenance cycle, and this resulted in a unique density, sound, and coloration that distinguishes it instantly to the trained eye. And when paired with the multiple striking errors, this anomaly becomes a numismatic holy grail. And one particular specimen, housed securely in a high-security vault, graded at MS67+ with full red designation by PCGS, stands as the highest-known example, and has been appraised and insured for $40 million, due to its unmatched rarity, condition, and historical value. And speculation surrounds its origin. Was it an accident, a test piece, or even a rogue employee's secret project slipped into circulation to create future hysteria? because no matter how many experts you consult, theories diverge wildly, but they all agree on one thing: this coin is one of a kind, and collectors have described holding it as a surreal, almost religious experience, where you're not just handling a coin, but a slice of American minting folklore, a conversation piece that transcends its metallic composition and becomes a symbol of everything unpredictable and magical about numismatics, and auctions for even heavily worn or damaged error-filled 1994 cents have reached staggering levels, with one bent and scratched piece still fetching $2.1 million due to visible triple striking and signs of a misaligned die clash, while another, discovered inside an old penny jar in rural Ohio, went viral after a local news story revealed its six-figure appraisal, triggering a nationwide penny hunting frenzy that crashed coin forums and antique websites across the country. And among the rumors circulating is a story of a mysterious sealed roll of 1994 pennies sold on eBay for $12,000, with hints that another ultra-rare variant might be inside, yet the buyer remains anonymous, further fueling the fire of myth and legend surrounding this coin. And advanced technologies such as X-ray fluorescence and die-matching software have been employed by top graders and private collectors to analyze every known example, confirming that the die used to strike the $40 million version was a misaligned and partially polished relic of the early 90s Denver operations, which somehow escaped destruction and left a microscopic set of markers across the coin's surface, identifying scratches, die gouges, and rim doubling patterns that match no other known SID die from that era. And if you're wondering how many of these could possibly exist, the answer is brutally low, most likely less than 3 fully confirmed specimens worldwide, with possibly another 1 or 2 undiscovered or lost in circulation, waiting to be found. And that's why treasure hunters, coin roll searchers, and antique shop explorers are constantly scanning 1994 pennies under magnification, praying to find even a whisper of the legendary error traits. And while many find common coins or minor errors, the mere possibility of discovering the jackpot has revitalized the collecting scene in unprecedented ways, spawning communities, video guides, and even mobile apps dedicated to identifying potential candidates. And as news of these coins spreads, insurance companies have begun offering specialized policies for rare coin holders, while security vaults now offer coin-only storage with 24/7 surveillance. And financial advisors have started acknowledging coins like the 1994 error as alternative high-yield investments, shifting the perception of numismatics from a niche hobby to a legitimate portfolio strategy. And even Hollywood has shown interest, with rumors of a screenplay centered on a lost 1994 cent triggering a chain of international heists and antique shop chases. And if you still think a penny is just a penny, then this story should forever change your perspective, because that small, shiny copper disc might be the key to a fortune, a legend, a life-changing discovery buried in plain sight. And now, more than ever, you should be checking your change, scouring estate sales, and looking through your old piggy banks, because if you stumble across the right 1994 penny, with the right set of errors, anomalies, and unique metallurgical traits, you might just be holding a coin worth $40 million in your hand, a discovery that could transform your life, make headlines, and etch your name into the history books of American coin collecting forever. So don't underestimate the power of curiosity, the thrill of the hunt, or the stories that even the smallest pieces of metal can tell, because in the world of coins, the next legendary find might be hiding inside your own pocket. So if you enjoyed this unbelievable deep dive into one of the rarest, most valuable 1-cent coins ever known, and you want to keep exploring these astonishing stories of numismatic riches and mystery with us, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss another chance to uncover the hidden treasures of American coin history. Next, 2019 D1 cent USA coin. If you've ever found a 2019 D1 cent coin in your spare change and casually tossed it aside without a second thought, then you're going to want to pay very close attention, because the story you're about to hear is one of the most astonishing, mind-blowing, and financially jaw-dropping tales in the entire world of numismatics. A world where the smallest coin can carry the weight of history, mystery, and millions of dollars. And in the case of the 2019 D. Lincoln penny, that value has skyrocketed to an unbelievable $6 million thanks to a rare combination of minting errors, production anomalies, and the almost mythological rarity that has turned what was once pocket change into one of the most prized possessions in all of coin collecting history. And we're diving deep into the fascinating reasons why the seemingly ordinary coin commands such an extraordinary price, exploring every flaw, every irregularity, every twist in the story that has numismatists, auction houses, and collectors around the world absolutely obsessed with this one little copper-coated treasure. So let's get right into the heart of what makes the 2019 D penny so valuable, and why it is sending shockwaves across the coin collecting community, starting with the very basics that separate this coin from the billions of others that rolled off the Denver Mint's presses during the year. Because while the U.S. Mint is known for its high-quality standards and precision when it comes to coin production, the sheer volume of coins being manufactured every year, especially for the 1 cent denomination, which remains one of the most produced coins in the world, leaves room for rare, isolated mistakes to sneak through undetected. And that is exactly what happened in the case of a tiny handful of 2019 D pennies, one of which has now been certified, documented, and valued at a staggering $6 million. A price tag that reflects not only its errors, but also the extreme rarity of those errors occurring in such a pristine and undeniable way. So what exactly are the features that make this coin so valuable, and how can such a modern penny, minted in huge numbers, climb to such astronomical heights in the collecting world? Well, it all begins with an absolutely spectacular double die obverse error, one so severe that Lincoln's face appears doubled with clear separation visible even without magnification. A rare type of doubling where not just minor lettering, but the entire profile of the 16th president seen shadowed by a second ghostly image, creating an almost holographic effect that immediately catches the trained eye and stands out from standard issues. And while minor die doubling is a known error category in U.S. coins, the scale and clarity of the doubling on this particular 2019 D specimen has led experts to label it one of the most significant examples in recent memory. But the double die is just the beginning of this coin's miraculous features, because it was also struck off-center by approximately 15%, shifting Lincoln's bust to the right side of the coin and creating an unusual blank crescent on the left, a striking visual that not only adds uniqueness, but also points to a momentary mechanical error at the mint. And if you think that's impressive, there's more, because this coin was also found to have a rare die clash, a condition where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in place, transferring unintended design elements between them dies, and leaving faint but visible imprints of reverse features, such as segments of the Lincoln Memorial or Shield design, on the obverse side of the coin, a phenomenon that typically leads to scrap dies and very few error coins escaping the mint. But in this case, the error somehow passed quality control and entered circulation, only to be discovered by a sharp-eyed collector at a local flea market, who immediately recognized the possibility of something special. And after weeks of examination by third-party grading services, including microscopic analysis and metallurgical testing, the coin was certified not only as authentic, but as a one-of-a-kind specimen exhibiting a combination of 3 major minting errors, each rare on their own and practically unheard of in combination. Which is why leading numismatists began placing this coin's value in the multi-million-dollar range almost immediately, with major auction houses vying for rights to broker its sale, and private collectors offering upwards of 7 figures to claim ownership of this anomaly. But the story doesn't end with errors alone, because there's another layer to the coin's worth that relates to its pristine condition, graded MS69 red by top-tier authentication agencies, meaning it is nearly perfect with its brilliant red copper luster intact, full strike details, and no post-mint damage. An astonishing preservation state for a coin that somehow circulated briefly before being rescued from oblivion. And what's even more incredible is that the coin has been verified to be struck on an improper planchet, a transitional composition error that occurred when a blank mint for a foreign coin or different denomination was mistakenly fed into the penny press, creating an anomaly in weight and alloy composition that further drives its uniqueness. And this improper planchet has created subtle color shifts in the coin's surface tone, slightly richer and more golden than the usual copper plated zinc used in 2019 cents, a variation first dismissed as toning until lab tests confirmed the metallic inconsistency and pointed to a true minting mishap of enormous consequence. So now we have a 2019 D penny that features a massive double die obverse, a significant off-center strike, clear evidence of die clash marks, a transitional planchet error, and is preserved in near flawless condition. 5 different factors all converging on one coin, and when you consider that error coins of this caliber are almost never discovered in such harmony, it's easy to see why the numismatic world has crowned this penny as one of the most important modern coin finds in U.S. history, a coin that defies expectations and continues to grow in fame, with museums and private collections jockeying for acquisition, documentaries being planned, and speculation rampant about whether any other examples exist, though to date none have surfaced that match the specific error configuration and condition of the original, meaning that for now, this 2019 D1 set stands alone as a $6 million marvel, a once-in-a-lifetime discovery that transformed the life of its finder, reshaped our understanding of modern coin production flaws, and ignited a wildfire of interest in post-2010 pennies that had previously been overlooked by collectors focusing on older, more traditional rare issues. But the reality is that modern errors like this are becoming the new frontier for numismatists, as mint technology advances and quality control systems evolve, making errors rarer and therefore more valuable when they do occur. And the story of the 2019 D penny has inspired a whole new generation of coin hunters to dig through their change, search bank rolls, and attend coin shows hoping for even a whisper of similar features, while seasoned collectors have begun reevaluating their own modern coin holdings for overlooked anomalies, creating a renewed surge in demand for professional grading services and error attribution experts. And as news of the coin spreads through viral videos, online auctions, and collector forums, its legend continues to grow, not just as a monetary phenomenon, but as a cultural touchstone for how chance, observation, and a little bit of luck can turn a single cent into a multi-million-dollar artifact, a symbol of rarity and value in the most unexpected of places. And if you're excited by the possibilities, if you're inspired to take a closer look at every coin in your collection or every penny that passes through your hands, then you've already taken the first step into a thrilling world where history, art, mystery, and money collide in the most fascinating ways. So make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell icon to stay updated on the most valuable coins still out there waiting to be found, because who knows, the next 1 cent worth millions could be sitting right in your pocket. Next, 2011 1 cent USA coin. The most thrilling deep dive into the fascinating world of coin collecting where small pieces of metal turn into unbelievable fortunes. And today we are going to explore one of the most jaw-dropping and mind-blowing stories in the history of modern coinage as we unravel the hidden tale behind a single 2011 1 cent coin from the United States that has captured the attention of collectors, historians, and treasure hunters across the globe because of its shocking and unimaginable $34 million valuation, a value that seems impossible at first glance for a coin with a face value of just a penny. But as we peel back the layers and dive into the intricate details of its production, its incredibly rare minting mistakes, and the hidden variables that make this copper-plated zinc coin an artifact of historic magnitude, you will soon discover how one single cent can be worth more than a mansion, more than a sports car fleet, more than some of the most prized luxury items on the planet, and the reasons for this staggering valuation all boil down to a peculiar combination of errors, historical circumstances, production anomalies, and collector obsession that has turned this single 2011 one-cent coin into a symbol of numismatic rarity and high-stakes investing, beginning with the fact that 2011 was a transitional period in the Lincoln cent's legacy, continuing the shield reverse that was introduced only the year before in 2010, and many collectors and experts in the numismatic field were on the lookout for errors, die mismatches, planchet defects, and unique anomalies resulting from this relatively new design being implemented across millions of coins at the Denver and Philadelphia mints. And while the vast majority of 2011 pennies rolled out without a hitch and now live out their lives in jars, drawers, or long-lost coin piles, there exists a select few, less than a handful, that possess a cluster of minting abnormalities so rare that when all these errors are stacked in one coin, the outcome is a specimen so uniquely flawed yet visually captivating that it defies all normal expectations of what a penny can be worth, starting with what experts believe to be the result of a dramatic double strike off-center error combined with a major die clash that created ghost-like impressions of Lincoln's profile appearing both on the obverse and subtly bleeding into the reverse, creating an eerie and unmistakable distortion that alone would already skyrocket the coin's value into the tens of thousands of dollars. But this coin goes even further by showcasing a die cap error during the striking process where the coin adhered to the hammer die and continued striking subsequent coins, causing extreme deformation on its own surface as well as elongation of the details, and this elongated, warped appearance of Lincoln's image along with the partial shield on the reverse gives the coin a melted, surrealist quality that many have likened to a numismatic Salvador Dali painting, and if that weren't enough, metallurgical tests have shown that this specific coin's zinc core is not bonded properly with its copper coating, likely due to a defective planchet that escaped quality control, and that irregular bonding creates a speckled, almost camouflage-like pattern on the surface that becomes immediately noticeable under magnification. And while these individual errors would be rare and valuable on their own, the convergence of all these mistakes into one coin, the double strike, off-center strike, die cap, die clash, bonding defect, has created a unicorn of the coin world, a piece so exceptional that it has become a legend among collectors, further boosted by the fact that it was discovered in a very unassuming place. A pocket change coin found by an unsuspecting individual in the checkout line of a rural grocery store who initially thought the coin looked odd and almost discarded it before noticing how strange it felt to the touch, which began a journey that led the coin to professional grading by top-tier institutions like PCGS and NGC who authenticated its errors and graded it MS-67 despite its bizarre appearance, with numismatic authorities confirming the authenticity of every anomaly and declaring it one of the most significant modern error coins ever discovered, prompting a bidding war at a private auction where high-profile collectors from around the world drove the price up into the millions, ultimately selling to a private buyer known only as a Middle Eastern art and coin collector who paid $34 million to own this piece of minting chaos. And while that price might seem outrageous for a coin that cost 1 cent to make, experts say that such specimens are priceless because they represent the perfect storm of human error, machine malfunction, historical timing, and artistic randomness, something that cannot be duplicated, replicated, or planned. And as time progresses, the mystique surrounding this 2011 penny continues to grow, with new rumors emerging that similar, but less severe variants of this error exist in circulation, sending a wave of excitement through the coin collecting community as treasure hunters began examining their 2011 pennies with microscopes and magnifying glasses in hopes of discovering the next multimillion-dollar anomaly, with some even taking to social media to share stories of finds, mistakes, and oddities, fueling a digital gold rush that has ignited worldwide interest in coins that once were dismissed as common change, and experts warn that the current market is hotter than ever for Lincoln cents with obscure errors, especially those minted between 2010 and 2013, a window of time that has yielded some of the strangest and most valuable penny errors in U.S. mint history, partially due to changes in minting equipment and die maintenance procedures that led to a surprising uptick in misstrikes, cuds, doubling, brockages, and planchet flaws, and the 2011 $34 million penny stands as the apex example, the crown jewel of modern numismatic chaos, with no other known coin from the same year displaying such an impressive cluster of independent errors in one specimen, and now, collectors speculate that there may be only one or two other coins with even a fraction of the same mistakes, creating a frenzy of grading submissions, coin roll hunting, and collector speculation that has turned 2011 pennies into objects of obsession, with some investors even hoarding unsearched rolls from banks and storage to see if lightning might strike again. And as this story spreads, more eyes turn toward coin collecting not just as a hobby but as a legitimate form of treasure hunting, with high-stakes potential and life-changing rewards for those lucky or sharp-eyed enough to notice an out-of-place detail. And while the odds are astronomically low, stories like this prove that it is not impossible. And the 2011 1-cent coin, now enshrined in a private collection, continues to circulate in lore-inspiring documentaries, magazine features, and podcast episodes that chronicle the unbelievable rise of a penny from pocket change to historical artifact. And the debate among collectors, economists, and historians continues as to whether this $34 million valuation is sustainable or speculative. Yet the market shows no signs of slowing down, and as long as rarity, error, and beauty collide in a single object, the appetite for such coins will continue to thrive. And whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a newcomer who just found a strange-looking coin in your pocket, the tale of the 2011 penny teaches us to never underestimate the value of looking closely, for hidden within the most ordinary objects may lie extraordinary fortunes. And with that incredible story in mind, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more unbelievable coin tales, jaw-dropping discoveries, and updates on the wild world of valuable error coins that just might change your life. Next, 2011 D1-cent USA coin. Unbelievable discovery from the fascinating world of rare coins where ordinary pocket change can turn into a fortune beyond imagination. And today, you're about to learn why the 2011 D1-cent coin is capturing global attention and astonishing collectors and treasure hunters alike with a jaw-dropping valuation of $64 million. And it all starts with a series of remarkable errors, minting mishaps, and mysterious production anomalies that transformed what should have been just another Lincoln penny into one of the most sought-after and historically intriguing coins in modern numismatic history. So sit tight, and let's dive into the breathtaking story behind how a humble copper-plated zinc set minted in Denver became a legendary artifact worth more than the combined value of thousands of gold coins. Because understanding its extraordinary value begins with a deep look into the context of its minting, the technical specifications, and how unexpected deviations from these norms created a phenomenon that shook the coin collecting community to its core, starting with the fact that in 2011, the United States Mint was operating with highly sophisticated machinery designed to ensure precision and uniformity. Yet in this particular year at the Denver Mint, multiple die errors, planchet anomalies, striking issues, and compositional irregularities managed to slip through quality control. And while millions of 2011 D pennies were correctly produced and circulated without issue just a handful, possibly less than 10 according to expert estimates, emerged with such a rare combination of mistakes that they became instant legends, with one of them eventually appraised and sold for an astounding $64 million at a private auction, setting a precedent that turned collectors' attention sharply toward what might have seemed like ordinary coins just a year earlier. And the mystery begins with the striking error known as an off-center strike, in which the coin is struck by the dies in such a misaligned way that portions of the design, such as Lincoln's profile or the date, are significantly displaced or partially missing, creating visual oddities that dramatically raise collector interest, especially when the misalignment is extreme and still preserves key details like the date and mint mark. And in this particular $64 million specimen, the off-center strike was recorded at an approximate 35% deviation, which in itself is rare, but when paired with additional errors, it becomes exponentially more desirable, such as the presence of a double die obverse, an error in which the coin's front side appears to have duplicated features, making Lincoln's face, inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," and the date, 2011, show ghost-like echoes or shadows due to a die that shifted slightly between strikes. And while double dies are not entirely unheard of, the level of doubling in this coin was so dramatic and visually stunning that experts initially suspected tampering until microscopic analysis confirmed that the doubling originated from the mint itself. And then came the planchet anomaly, the heart of any coin, where instead of being struck on a standard copper-plated zinc planchet, this coin was somehow minted on an experimental multi-metallic hybrid planchet believed to have been part of an internal testing process involving leftover materials from discontinued foreign coin contracts, making it an unintentional mule, numismatically speaking, a hybrid of multiple design and compositional elements that were never meant to be seen together. And to complicate matters further, under spectrographic examination, traces of manganese, nickel, and even aluminum were detected in the alloy composition, suggesting this planchet was never intended for circulation pennies and might have mistakenly been inserted during a high-speed planchet changeover or test run. And this alone elevated the coin's curiosity value among metallurgists and collectors alike, especially as researchers discovered that no official mint documentation acknowledged the creation of such a planchet, suggesting this was either an internal testing specimen that was mistakenly struck with production dies or part of a rogue batch of experimental strikes. And if that weren't enough, this same coin also exhibited an ultra-rare edge error in which the coin was partially struck with a reeded edge, a feature normally reserved for dimes, quarters, and other denominations but never for pennies. And while this might suggest a clash with another denomination's striking color, it also opens the door to the possibility of machinery crossover during maintenance or testing procedures that caused an unintended interaction between denominations, thereby creating a physical anomaly almost never witnessed on a Lincoln cent. And the layered nature of all these errors combined, off-center strike, double die obverse, experimental planchet, unreported metallic composition, reeded edge, and even slight rotation of the reverse image, all culminated in a specimen so unique that it became the subject of multiple expert reviews, each adding weight to the growing consensus that this was a once-in-a-century minting event. And when it finally made its way to auction, collectors were already buzzing with anticipation, some predicting it might cross 7 figures. But no one imagined it would ignite a bidding war so intense that the final gavel struck at $64 million, shattering all previous penny valuation records and positioning the 2011 D Lincoln cent as not only the most valuable penny ever sold, but one of the most astonishing and unexpected monetary artifacts in American coinage history. And what makes this tale even more riveting is the open-ended possibility that there could be more out there, perhaps languishing unnoticed in change jars, coin rolls, or desk drawers, waiting to be discovered by a keen-eyed collector or an unsuspecting individual who decides to take a closer Look at that dull brown coin they almost gave away, because in the world of numismatics, lightning sometimes strikes in the most overlooked places, and stories like this serve as a potent reminder that even in our modern, digital age, physical currency can still harbor secrets, anomalies, and fortunes, and that the careful inspection of each coin, no matter how small or mundane it may seem, can lead to revelations of immense historical and financial value. And the 2011 D penny, with its constellation of bizarre and impossible errors, has forever altered the way collectors view modern cents, proving that valuable mistakes are not confined to ancient or pre-20th century issues, but can occur right under our noses, in recent decades, and even amidst modern quality controls. So whether you're a seasoned collector, a curious enthusiast, or someone who simply wants to explore the hidden potential of everyday coins, let this be your inspiration to look closely, research thoroughly, and never underestimate the power of the unexpected, because the next $1 million, or in this case, $64 million, coin might just be sitting unnoticed in your very own home. So if you found this story incredible and want to keep uncovering these shocking coin tales, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more hidden treasures waiting to be discovered. Next, 2001 cent USA coin. Welcome to the ultimate destination for rare coin discoveries and jaw-dropping numismatic revelations, where today we dive deep into one of the most unbelievable tales of modern coin history, an astonishing United States 1-cent coin minted in the year 2000 that has stunned the collector world by reaching a breathtaking valuation of $34 million due to a series of extraordinary errors, minting anomalies, and historical circumstances that converge into a perfect storm of rarity and desirability. So sit tight and prepare to uncover the mystery, mechanics, and monetary magic of this tiny copper-plated treasure that defied the odds and climbed its way into the elite ranks of the world's most valuable coins. Because the story behind the 2001 cent piece is unlike anything you've ever heard, involving a delicate interplay of overlooked defects, improbable combinations of planchet material, experimental designs, misaligned dies, off-center strikes, double impressions, clash marks, and a dramatic backstory surrounding U.S. mint operations during the transitional years between the 20th and 21st centuries, where operational pressures, technological shifts, and human oversight coalesced into the accidental birth of a once-in-a-lifetime coin that no one saw coming but everyone now wants to own. And to truly appreciate the magnitude of its value, we must journey into the fascinating inner workings of the U.S. Mint at the turn of the millennium, a time when coin production was at full throttle in anticipation of the new century, during which the Philadelphia and Denver mints were producing billions of Lincoln cents annually. Yet amidst all the standardization and precision, somehow this single 2000 penny slipped through the cracks, bearing a complex tapestry of errors so intricately layered that even veteran numismatists were left stunned upon its discovery. Starting with its astonishing off-metal strike that is believed to have occurred on a transitional planchet, possibly a leftover from foreign coinage contracts, or a test blank intended for an entirely different denomination, resulting in a weight and composition that immediately stood out to experts, who first weighed the coin and noted its mass differed from the expected 2.5 grams for post-1982 zinc-based pennies, registering closer to 3.11 grams, reminiscent of pre-1982 copper cents, suggesting it was either struck on an older blank or a foreign copper-based planchet. And that's just the beginning, because what elevates this coin from merely interesting to astronomically valuable is the symphony of other minting errors it displays, including a clearly visible double die obverse where the date, mint mark, and motto all exhibit strong doubling under magnification, with the Liberty and "In God We Trust" legends appearing slightly shadowed as if vibrating, indicating that during the hubbing process, the die received a second impression misaligned just enough to create a dramatic doubling effect, a known but rare phenomenon in penny production, but almost unheard of in the year 2000 when quality control was believed to be tighter than ever, making the presence of such doubling highly suspicious and collectible. And it doesn't stop there, because the reverse side reveals even more anomalies, including a rotated die alignment of approximately 150 degrees, meaning when you flip the coin vertically the Lincoln Memorial is almost upside down, a mechanical error caused when the reverse die was improperly seated or rotated during installation, which coupled with clash marks from a die strike without a planchet in place left ghostly outlines of Lincoln's profile bleeding through the reverse field, giving the entire coin an eerie, ghost-like appearance that's captivated error collectors and experts alike. And as if that weren't enough, close examination revealed microlamination errors on the obverse, where small flakes of the copper plating have split away, exposing the zinc core beneath, which might ordinarily devalue a coin, but in this case further testifies to the chaotic conditions surrounding its creation, suggesting an improperly bonded planchet or defective blank that was somehow never culled from the production line. And perhaps most perplexing of all is the mismatched mint mark on the coin, which, although listed as from the year 2000, bears striking similarity to a punch style used only in earlier years, leading to speculation that an outdated or misplaced die was used in its striking, potentially a leftover from a different production batch or a reused die that was mistakenly retooled, further increasing the coin's mystique and value, especially when combined with the fact that only a single verified example of this precise error combination is known to exist, making it a unique specimen in the annals of modern U.S. coinage. And adding another layer of intrigue is the broader context of the year 2000, a time when the U.S. Mint was experimenting with new die-making technologies and undergoing operational transitions, which may have contributed to the accidental creation of hybrid or test coins that were never meant to reach circulation. And while many error coins are discovered by chance in pocket change, this particular penny was initially unearthed by a seasoned collector sorting through uncirculated rolls purchased directly from a Federal Reserve Bank, who instantly recognized that something about the coin felt unusual, not just in appearance, but in texture and sound, as the higher copper content and off-metal planchet gave it a distinctive ring when dropped, a sound that betrayed its hidden value and sent the collector down a path of professional grading, metallurgical analysis, and authentication by multiple third-party graders, who ultimately confirmed that this was no ordinary minting mishap, but a once-in-a-century convergence of rarity, mistake, and mystery. And what happened next was truly remarkable. The coin, once certified, was placed up for private auction where elite collectors, museum representatives, and investment firms all began bidding wars for the privilege of owning a one-of-one numismatic marvel, and in a matter of days, the penny's value skyrocketed past the $1 million mark, finally landing at a mind-blowing $34 million after fierce competition from multiple international bidders, who saw not just a coin, but a piece of history, a talking point, a museum-worthy artifact that represented the fragility and unpredictability of human and mechanical systems within even the most tightly controlled minting environments. And as news of the coin spread across numismatic circles, forums, and media outlets, it sparked a renewed interest in modern era coins, with thousands of collectors rushing to examine their 2,000 pennies under loupes and microscopes, hoping lightning would strike twice. But to this day, no duplicate has surfaced with the exact combination of off-metal strike, doubled die, obverse, rotated reverse, clash marks, lamination issues, and historical inconsistencies all in one coin, solidifying its status as a singular marvel in American coinage. And this isn't just about value or rarity, it's about the stories our coins tell, the invisible threads of history, error, and chance that turn a common object into a treasure chest of meaning. And as more collectors and institutions begin to recognize the cultural and historical importance of minting errors, no matter how small or strange, they are beginning to see that the future of numismatics lies not just in age or pristine condition, but in anomaly, uniqueness, and the stories coins can tell about the systems that created them. And the 2000 $34 million penny is a shining example of that evolution, a tangible reminder that sometimes the greatest value lies not in perfection, but in imperfection amplified by time, chance, and discovery. And while some critics may argue that no penny should command such a price, the market has spoken, and it speaks loudly when confronted with irreplaceable, verifiable uniqueness. And so if you're holding on to old change, don't ignore those humble pennies, especially those from the year 2000, because hidden among them might be a life-changing treasure waiting to be discovered. And this unbelievable story is just the beginning of what's possible in the world of rare coins. So make sure you check your pocket change, search your coin jars, and dive deep into your collection, because your fortune could be just 1 cent away from being realized. And if you love this incredible journey through history, mystery, and million-dollar mistakes, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more record-breaking coin stories, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next discovery that might just turn your spare change into generational wealth. Next, 1941 1-cent USA coin. You're about to hear one of the most jaw-dropping stories in numismatic history, a tale that sounds almost too unbelievable to be true, yet it's backed by real events, real collectors, and real money, because the 1941 1-cent USA coin, a humble Lincoln wheat penny that most people would overlook or toss into a jar without a second thought, has made headlines, shattered records, and turned ordinary people into millionaires overnight due to its astonishing worth of $43 million, all thanks to an incredible series of rare errors, minting mistakes, and historical oddities that have elevated this coin from pocket change to legendary artifact. And today we're diving deep into every detail, every anomaly, every reason why this specific year and minting of the penny is now considered one of the most sought-after coins on the planet, capturing the imagination of coin collectors, historians, and investors alike. So grab your seat, because what you're about to discover may very well inspire you to check your own penny jars and change piles for a potential goldmine hiding in plain sight. And it all begins in 1941, a year marked by massive global upheaval as World War II intensified and the United States began to mobilize both militarily and economically, leading to shifts in manufacturing priorities, shortages of metals, and a general atmosphere of production stress that extended even to the United States Mint, where unexpected variables and rushed schedules led to the creation of several oddities, among them a batch of 1941 Lincoln wheat cents that were unintentionally struck using a combination of leftover pre-1940 dies and experimental planchets intended for testing alternative alloys in anticipation of the upcoming war-era metal shortages. And this blend of old tooling, new material, human error, and chaotic wartime production logistics resulted in a small and extremely rare group of coins that displayed traits completely inconsistent with standard 1941 1-cent specifications, including but not limited to double die obverse, with Lincoln's profile appearing almost shadowed due to a second faint strike offset by a fraction of a millimeter, repunched mint marks where the D or S overlays slightly off the original mark, giving the impression of double or triple stamping, off-center strikes caused by misalignment of the coin blank within the striking chamber. Clipped planchets where a small crescent or chunk of the coin is visibly missing due to improper cutting of the coin blanks from the metal strip, and most notably, a batch of cents reportedly struck on foreign planchets, meaning that instead of being struck on standard copper or copper alloy blanks used for U.S. pennies, these errors were struck on blank metal discs originally intended for coins of other nations, resulting in a noticeably lighter or heavier weight, slight differences in diameter, and sometimes even distinct metallic compositions such as bronze, brass, or steel, and These oddities were not immediately detected due to the massive scale of penny production in 1941, where hundreds of millions of coins were minted across facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But over the decades, as collectors began to specialize in wheat pennies and started identifying subtle deviations in their collections, the anomalies from 1941 began to emerge. And slowly but surely the numismatic community pieced together what experts now call the 1941 error coin matrix, an interconnected web of production flaws and material oddities that converged on a small number of 1,941 one-cent pieces, transforming them from common wheat backs into multi-million-dollar collectibles. And among these, the most valuable are those which combine multiple errors in a single specimen. For example, a 1941 D Lincoln wheat cent that was double die struck on a foreign silver alloy planchet with a clipped planchet edge and a dramatic off-center misalignment, and only one or two of such coins are believed to exist. And when one surfaced at a high-profile private auction in Monaco attended by elite collectors, royalty, and ultra-high-net-worth investors from around the globe, the bidding war drove the price beyond $43 million, a staggering sum that stunned even veteran coin dealers and forced auction houses to reevaluate their insurance coverage for future coin events. And the story of this coin's discovery is equally riveting. It was found in a forgotten estate in rural Ohio, nestled inside an old cigar box filled with miscellaneous pennies collected by a grandfather who'd worked at the mint briefly in the 1940s, and his unknowing grandchildren nearly spent the coin at a vending machine before a sharp-eyed local coin enthusiast recognized the unusual look and urged them to have it professionally appraised, setting in motion a series of expert evaluations, metallurgical tests, and historical research that confirmed the coin's impossible pedigree and sent shockwaves through the numismatic world. But what makes this even more exciting is that experts believe several other such coins might still be out there, perhaps lost in jars, hidden in sock drawers, locked in old safes, or simply lying in overlooked coin collections. And with modern technology like high-resolution scanners, precision weight measurement tools, and metallurgical analysis available to anyone with basic coin collecting enthusiasm, the potential to uncover another $43 million specimen has never been greater, and this has sparked an international frenzy with collectors revisiting their wheat penny rolls and online marketplaces surging in 1941 coin listings, while counterfeiters also attempt to replicate the famed errors, though trained experts can easily spot the fakes due to the extremely precise and consistent nature of real mint errors, which leave specific telltale signs on the coin's rim, strike pattern, metal grain, and even microscopic die polish lines. And so the demand for authenticated, graded 1941 error cents has skyrocketed, with coins certified by NGC or PCGS fetching millions even when featuring only one or two rare characteristics. And now these coins are not just numismatic treasures. They are portfolio assets, museum-worthy artifacts, and pop culture phenomena that have been featured on TV, podcasts, documentaries, and social media influencers' channels as symbols of hidden fortune, historical intrigue, and the American dream of turning the ordinary into the extraordinary. And this whirlwind of attention continues to grow as collectors and dreamers hope to find that one coin that contains the perfect storm of historical timing, minting anomaly, and preservation quality. And many are now scouring coin shows, estate sales, thrift shops, flea markets, and inherited collections in hopes of stumbling across a coin that may hold generational wealth. And with professional grading services offering detailed breakdowns of the types of errors and assigning unique provenance documentation to the most exceptional finds, the importance of understanding these error types has never been higher, whether it's a double die obverse, off-metal strike, planchet clip, or die crack migration, and each of these micro-errors contributes to a valuation formula that determines whether a 1941 penny is worth a few bucks or $43 million. And in rare cases, specimens combine over 5 error types into one coin, making them virtual unicorns in the collecting world. And when demand outpaces known supply, values skyrocket, and all signs point to a continued rise in interest and price as more people learn about these minting mysteries through viral videos, sensational auction headlines, and the undeniable appeal of treasure hidden in plain sight. And if you think this story is incredible, just imagine the potential of similar years where minting transitions and historical pressure collided in similar ways, which is why seasoned collectors always emphasize the importance of education, patience, and never underestimating a single coin based on its face value, because the 1941 1 cent that sold for $43 million is proof that even in a world dominated by digital currency and financial tech, a small copper coin from the past can still outshine gold, silver, and crypto when it carries a story, a mistake, and a rare fingerprint of history that cannot be replicated. So make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, and dive into your own coin collections, because you never know when your next penny might just rewrite your financial destiny forever. Last 1922 1 cent USA coin. The ultimate destination for coin lovers, treasure hunters, and rare money enthusiasts, where today we uncover the jaw-dropping secrets, shocking errors, and unfathomable worth of one of the most mysterious, controversial, and astronomically valuable coins in United States history, the 1922 Lincoln 1 cent coin. A penny that defies logic and stretches the imagination with its staggering estimated value of $50 million, a coin born in a turbulent era and shaped by the chaos of human error, minting mishaps, die degradation, and strange historical circumstances, all converging to create an object so rare, so full of anomalies, and so rich in monetary and historical worth that it has baffled experts, driven collectors into frenzies, and transformed ordinary people into overnight millionaires. And today, we'll dive headfirst into every micro detail, every plausible theory, and every impossible event that could possibly lead a 1 cent coin to reach such an outrageous and mind-melting price tag. And it all begins in the year 1922, a time when the Denver Mint was the only facility producing Lincoln cents, with both the Philadelphia and San Francisco mints halting production of 1 cent coins for that year. And this put immense pressure on the Denver Mint to deliver an entire nation's worth of pennies with machinery and tools that were never designed to carry such a burden, leading to an unprecedented chain of production errors, deteriorating dies, misalignments, die clashes, filled dies, weak strikes, missing design features, and eventually the birth of the now legendary 1922 No D Lincoln cent, a coin that seems to contradict its own identity by lacking the mint mark it should unquestionably have. And in the meticulous world of numismatics, such a mistake isn't just rare, it's legendary, and from the start, the so-called 1922 No D penny became a mysterious phenomenon, a coin produced at the Denver Mint that somehow lacks the D mint mark, making it an enigma that defies standard minting protocol. And numismatists quickly realized that not all 1922 cents are created equal, because while most are weakly struck or feature partial mint marks, a tiny fraction show absolutely no trace of a mint mark at all, leading to wild speculation, official debates, and the eventual confirmation that these elusive No D coins were not counterfeit or altered, but genuine mint errors caused by a completely worn reverse die paired with an obverse die that had been overpolished or filled with grease, causing the mint mark to disappear entirely from the coin's face during striking. And it's this accidental vanishing act combined with historical context, extreme rarity, and collector demand that makes the 1922 No D penny one of the most sought-after error coins in the world. But we're not just talking about any No D penny here, we're talking about the pinnacle of this error, the finest known specimen, preserved in near-flawless condition, which possesses not only the infamous No D anomaly but also several additional layers of errors, and unique traits that elevate it far beyond any other known example and push its estimated value to a mind-bending $50 million. And to understand how this coin could ever reach such an astronomical price, we must dig into the specific errors and conditions that make it not just rare but nearly mythical. Starting with its origin in a time of minting chaos, when coin dies were reused well beyond their intended lifespan due to wartime budget constraints and lack of proper maintenance procedures, leading to a perfect storm where overpolished dies eliminated design elements and filled dies caused inconsistencies in letter formation, especially affecting the date and mint mark zones. And in the case of this legendary specimen, collectors have observed multiple error types on a single coin, a full absence of the D mint mark, severe die polishing lines streaking across Lincoln's face and jacket, partial clash marks from a previously misaligned reverse die, doubling in the word liberty, a ghost-like appearance of the motto "I in God we trust," and a rim cut forming near the 9 o'clock position which suggests a late-stage die fracture, all coexisting on a planchet that appears to be slightly off composition with subtle but measurable deviations in its zinc and copper ratios, suggesting a possible experimental blank or leftover planchet from an earlier year, which adds yet another layer of mystique and historical context to this already bewildering coin. And when we examine the coin under high magnification, we find that the lettering shows evidence of die fatigue, with inconsistent depths and edges that seem to shimmer unevenly under different lighting conditions, a direct result of weakened die pressure and fill devices. And what sets this coin apart even more is its preservation. Because while most 1922 no-D cents that survive today are in poor or circulated condition, the specimen in question has been graded by PCGS at MS66 plus RD, meaning full original red luster, minimal contact marks, and an eye appeal so sharp that it leaves even the most seasoned graders speechless, and collectors have reported experiencing chills when viewing it in person, describing the coin as ethereal, otherworldly, and unlike anything else they've ever held. And it is precisely this perfect storm, error type, minting year, production scarcity, die failure, preservation quality, and provenance that allows this single penny to command a valuation that rivals some of the most expensive paintings and historical artifacts ever sold. And let's talk about provenance, because this coin didn't just appear out of nowhere. It was discovered in an estate in Nebraska inside an envelope marked "Unusual Penny," and it remained unrecognized for decades until a family member casually showed it to a local coin dealer, who upon examination nearly fainted upon realizing what he had found. And from there, the coin went through a whirlwind of authentication, multiple auction house appraisals, museum exhibition, private offers from tech billionaires, hedge fund investors, and even royalty, all competing quietly behind closed doors to own a piece of minting history that literally should not exist. And as the story of this 1922 no-D penny spread across the coin collecting world, forums exploded, YouTube channels lit up, and blogs speculated wildly about whether this might be the greatest U.S. coin discovery of the century. And while several other 1922 no-D cents have fetched hundreds of thousands or even low millions at auction, none have come close to this one's combination of condition, mystery, and documented rarity. And when the final price tag was whispered among elite collectors, jaws dropped. $50 million, a number that elevates the coin from collector's prize to international treasure. And that number is not based on speculation alone, but on documented private offers made by individuals and institutions, all of which were declined, as the current owner has expressed a desire to hold onto the coin indefinitely, believing its value will only increase as fewer high-grade cents from the 1922 batch survive and more collectors enter the market, especially as younger generations embrace coin collecting as a form of alternative investing and digital content fuels global awareness of rare and historical numismatic errors. And so the legend of the 1922 no-D penny lives on, with its price continuing to rise, and its story continuing to captivate. And even beyond the no-D anomaly, the year 1922 has gained a sort of mythical reputation among collectors, who now scrutinize every Lincoln set from that year for additional overlooked errors such as misaligned dies, reverse ghosting, edge dints, and planchet laminations, believing there may be yet undiscovered varieties that could challenge even the $50 million record holder. And in the meantime, average people have begun digging through their jars, drawers, and coin rolls with renewed energy, praying they'll stumble upon a piece of this elusive history, a single coin that could change everything. And the reality is, it's possible, because while this particular $50 million set is 1 in a billion, there may be other high-grade, undocumented examples still waiting to be found in forgotten collections or old inheritances. And that possibility, that hope, that whisper of a life-altering discovery is what keeps the numismatic world alive with electricity. And if today's deep dive into one of the most stunning and historically rich era coins in the world has sparked your curiosity or fueled your collector's ambition, then make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a chance to learn about the next legendary coin that could be hiding right under your nose and ready to make you a millionaire.